Do you ever feel like your prayers are going unanswered? Maybe you've been praying for months, even years, for something that keeps you awake at night. Your child's health, a job to pay the bills, or peace in a storm that won't let up. You pour out your soul, but the silence hits you like a brick wall. It's as if you're shouting into an endless canyon, waiting for an echo that never comes. I know that feeling weighs heavy on you, and I'm here to tell you something right now. I hear every word, every whisper in the dark, every tear-soaked plea, every quiet hope you're afraid to speak. I hear it all. So lean in, because I want you to understand the power of persistent prayer. I see you when you wonder if I'm listening, when you ask yourself, does God even care? Or, am I messing this up somehow? Those questions don't scare me off. I've watched you wrestle with doubt, felt the ache in your chest when the answer doesn't come fast enough. You're not alone in that struggle. I've been right there with you, closer than you might think. I know the nights when you've wanted to give up, when praying feels like tossing pebbles into a river, watching them sink without a ripple. But here's the truth. Your prayers don't sink. They rise to me, every single one, like a child's voice calling out in the night. Picture a little kid learning to walk. They take a shaky step, wobble, and tumble to the floor. Does that stop them? No. They grab the edge of a chair, pull themselves up, and try again. Their legs tremble. They fall a dozen times, but each stumble makes them stronger. And all the while, their mom or dad is there, arms outstretched, whispering, "You've got this, keep going." That's you when you pray persistently. You stumble, you doubt, but you get back up, and I'm there, cheering you on, ready to catch you. Your persistence isn't just effort, it's faith, it's trust. It's you saying, "I won't let go," even when the ground feels unsteady. You might remember a story I shared long ago about a widow who wouldn't quit. She faced a judge who didn't care about justice or anyone's opinion, just a cold, hard man with no heart for her cries. But she kept showing up day after day, knocking on his door, pleading her case. "Give me justice," she demanded over and over, until that judge threw up his hands and said, "Fine, I'll do it, just so she'll stop wearing me out." If a stubborn, unjust man bends to persistence, how much more do you think I, your loving Father, respond when you keep coming to me? I'm not annoyed by your prayers, I'm moved by them. Let me tell you about Sarah, a woman not so different from you. She was a young mom, working 2 jobs, her hands calloused from scrubbing floors and flipping burgers. Every night after kissing her kids goodnight, she'd kneel by her bed and pray, "God, please, I need a better job. I want to give my children a life where they don't hear no so often." Months dragged on, bills stacked up, the fridge stayed half empty, and her knees grew sore. She wondered if I'd forgotten her, but she'd heard about that widow, and something in her said, "Keep going." One Sunday, she bumped into an old friend after church. "Hey, my company's hiring," her friend said casually. Sarah applied, half expecting another dead end, but she got the job. A role where she could work from home, earn more, and watch her kids grow up instead of missing it all. Sitting in her new office, hearing their laughter from the next room, she realized I hadn't just answered her prayer. I'd given her something better than she'd dared to ask. That's what persistent prayer does. It's not about forcing my hand. It's about trusting my heart. Sarah didn't get exactly what she pictured, but she got what I knew she needed. And it's the same with you. When you keep praying, you're not just waiting for an answer. You're letting me shape you, draw you closer, show you my presence in ways you might miss otherwise. I know it's tough when you feel like you're talking to a silent sky. The loneliness stings, doesn't it? Doubt whispers, "Is he there?" Frustration shouts, "Why the wait?" Sometimes you might even feel angry, abandoned, like a friend who's been stood up one too many times. I get it, and I'm not mad at you for feeling that way. But here's my promise. I'm always here, listening to every word. My silence isn't me turning away. It's me working behind the scenes, piecing things together for your good. You might not see it yet, but I'm in the details, in the timing, in the quiet moments when you least expect it. Think back for a second. Can you recall a time when you saw my hand in your life, even if it didn't look like what you prayed for? Maybe a relationship mended when you'd given up hope, or a strength you found when you thought you'd break. What about that small gift? A stranger's smile, a song on the radio that hit you just right, a sunset that stopped you in your tracks. Those are me saying, I'm here, and I care. Take a moment to linger on those memories. They're breadcrumbs I've left to remind you I'm walking with you even now. Persistent prayer isn't just about getting answers, it's about becoming. Each time you reach out to me, you're building something stronger, like a rope tying your heart to mine. It's a muscle that grows when you flex it, a trust that deepens when you lean in. You start to see that prayer isn't only about what you want, it's about discovering what I want for you, aligning your dreams with mine. When you keep at it, you're telling me, I believe you're good, I trust you're listening. And that faith, it lights up my heart. So as you sit with this, ask yourself, what have I been praying for day after day? Have I noticed any whispers of my work in that space, even if it's not the big answer yet? How has showing up to pray changed me? My hope, my patience, my trust? Jot those thoughts down, or share them with someone close. Let them sink in, because your prayers hold more power than you know. In the next part, I'll take you into David's story, a man whose relentless prayers didn't just change his life, but set off a revival that shook his whole community. It's a tale of grit, faith, and the ripple effect of one person who wouldn't stop knocking. You'll want to hear this, so stick with me. There's so much more I've got to show you. Now let me take you deeper into this journey by telling you about David, a man not so different from you. He was ordinary in many ways. A husband, a father, someone who woke up each day hoping to make life better for the ones he loved. But David carried a weight you might recognize, the kind that presses down when dreams slip out of reach and prayers seem to echo unanswered. For years, he'd been asking me for a breakthrough, a chance to rise above the grind of layoffs and missed opportunities. Night after night, he'd kneel by his bed, his voice steady but soft. God, please, just one open door. I need to know you hear me. But life didn't bend easily to his pleas. Doors didn't just close. They slammed shut, one after another. The job he'd pinned his hopes on, gone in a company downsizing. The promotion he'd worked late nights for, handed to someone else. Bills stacked up on the kitchen counter, and his wife's quiet sighs grew heavier each month. His kids deserved a father who could look them in the eye without shame. But all David felt was the sting of failure. Have you ever been there, staring at a pile of not-yets and wondering if I've lost track of you? It's a lonely place, isn't it? One night, after another day of dead ends, David sat in his car outside his house, the engine off, the silence thick. He couldn't face going inside, not yet. The stars flickered faintly above, half hidden by city lights. And for the first time in years, he didn't pray. He just sat there, hands gripping the steering wheel, and whispered into the dark, "Are you even there? Do you care?" I heard him, of course, I always do. But that night, David couldn't feel me. Doubt had crept in, wrapping its cold fingers around his heart, and he wondered if he'd been talking to an empty sky all along. You felt that too, haven't you? Those moments when the silence feels louder than my promises, when you question if I'm still listening, or if I ever were. I'm not afraid of your doubts, you know. I don't pull away when you wrestle with them. In fact, I draw closer. David's whispered question didn't push me off. It invited me in. Because when you're honest enough to voice your fears, it means you still believe there's someone on the other end. As he sat there, something flickered in David's soul. A memory, small but stubborn, like a candle refusing to go out. He thought of his grandmother, her voice worn but warm, telling him about a man who once wrestled with me through the night, clinging to me until I blessed him. "I won't let you go," that man had said, bold and desperate. David gave a tired laugh. "I don't have the strength to wrestle," he thought. But then my voice, soft as a breeze, spoke to his heart. "You don't have to wrestle, just hold on." So, David did something simple yet seismic. He bowed his head right there in the driver's seat and prayed. Not for the job this time, not for the money. "God," he said, "I don't get why it's so hard, but I'm choosing to trust you. Help me hold on. It wasn't poetry, just raw, real words from a man too weary for pretense. But those words were enough. I don't need your prayers to be polished. I just need them to be yours. The next morning, an email pinged on David's phone. It was from an old co-worker, someone he hadn't thought of in ages. "Hey David," it read. "I've been thinking about you. My company's hiring. Nothing fancy, but it's steady. You in?" He stared at the screen, coffee untouched, heart thudding. It wasn't the big break he'd imagined. No corner office, no dream salary. It was a step down if he was honest, but it was something. A rope tossed into the pit when he'd forgotten what hope felt like. Maybe you're wondering, that's it? A mediocre job offer? But my answers don't always arrive with trumpets. Sometimes they're quiet, like a seed breaking through soil, small but alive with possibility. David took the job. It wasn't glamorous, but it kept the lights on, softened the worry in his wife's eyes, and gave his kids a dad who could breathe again. More than that, it rekindled something in him. He started to see that I hadn't abandoned him. I'd been moving pieces into place even when he couldn't see the board. Here's what I want you to catch. Persistent prayer isn't just about getting the prize you're chasing. It's about learning to trust me when the road twists and the map's unclear. David's story didn't stop with that job. It was a doorway. That humble gig led him to a mentor, someone who saw the spark in him, who nudged him toward starting his own business. But I'll save that for later. For now, know this. His persistence didn't just open one door. It started a ripple that would reshape his life. What about you? Can you think of a time I answered you in a way you didn't expect? Maybe it was a no that steered you somewhere better, or a delay that grew your grit. Pause and look back. What did you learn about me then? How did it stretch your trust? Maybe you're still waiting, still praying, still wondering when I'll show up. I see you there, and I promise, I'm not deaf to your cries. Every prayer you lift is a thread in a tapestry I'm weaving. You might not see the pattern yet, but it's there and it's beautiful. Persistent prayer does more than change your situation. It changes you. Each time you come to me, even with shaky faith, you're building something sturdy. You're teaching your soul to lean into me, to trust my timing over your own. That's gold, my child, worth more than any quick fix I could hand you. David learned that, and it set him on a path he never saw coming. His breakthrough wasn't just about him, it sparked something bigger, a revival that reached beyond his own front door. Next time I'll show you how his stubborn faith lit a fire that warmed his family, his friends, and far more. So stay with me. The best is still ahead. Now let's bring this all together. You've heard about Sarah, who kept praying for a better job and found more than she asked for, a way to be present with her children. You've walked with David through his doubts and dead ends, only to see him step into a breakthrough that changed not just his life, but the lives of those around him. And you've been reminded of the widow who wouldn't stop knocking until justice was served. These stories aren't just tales from the past. They're mirrors reflecting your own journey. Because like them, you've prayed, you've waited, and you've wondered if I'm still listening. But here's the truth I want you to carry with you. Your prayers are never wasted. Not one of them. Prayer isn't just about getting the answers you want. It's about building something deeper, something eternal. It's about growing your trust in me, learning to lean into my timing and becoming the person I've always known you could be. Sarah didn't just get a job. She got a new way to love her family. David didn't just find work. He found a path to purpose that rippled out to bless others. And the widow? She didn't just win her case, she showed the world what relentless faith looks like. Each of them discovered that persistent prayer doesn't just change circumstances, it changes you. You see, prayer is a lot like planting seeds. Some prayers sprout quickly, like wildflowers after a spring rain, bright and beautiful for all to see. Others take time, buried deep in the soil of your soul, growing roots you can't yet see. But whether you see the bloom or not, I promise you this. Every prayer you plant is alive, growing and working beneath the surface. I'm the gardener, tending to each one, knowing exactly when to bring it to light. So when you feel like giving up, remember this. Your prayers are never dormant. They're always moving, always shaping something, even when you can't see it yet. Let me tell you the rest of David's story, because it's not just about him. It's about what happens when one person's faith sparks a fire. That job David took, it wasn't the end, it was the beginning. His mentor saw something in him, a grit, a quiet strength, and encouraged him to start his own business. David hesitated at first. "Who am I to do that?" he thought. But I whispered to his heart, "Who are you not to?" So he took the leap, and that small business grew. It didn't just provide for his family. It created jobs for others in his community, people who'd been praying for their own breakthroughs. One day, a young man named Marcus walked through David's door, resume in hand, eyes weary from rejection. David hired him not just for his skills, but because he saw a bit of himself in Marcus. The same hunger, the same quiet desperation. Over time, David became a mentor to Marcus, teaching him not just about work, but about life, about faith, about praying through the hard seasons. And Marcus? He went on to start his own venture, hiring others, passing on the same lessons. What started as David's persistent prayer for a job became a ripple of revival, touching lives he'd never even met. That's the power of prayer. It doesn't just stop with you. It flows outward, blessing others in ways you can't imagine. So what does this mean for you? It means your prayers are part of something bigger. When you pray for your family, your work, your dreams, you're not just asking for yourself. You're setting off ripples that can touch the world. Your persistence isn't just for you. It's for everyone your life will impact. And trust me, your life impacts more people than you know. But I also know that waiting can be exhausting. There are days when your knees ache from kneeling, when your heart feels too heavy to lift another plea. On those days, I don't expect you to have perfect words or unshakable faith. I just ask you to show up, even if all you can say is, "God, I'm here. Help me." That's enough, because prayer isn't about performance, it's about presence. It's about coming to me again and again, trusting that I'm with you in the silence, in the struggle, in the slow unfolding of my plan. As you think about your own prayers, I want you to remember this. I hear every word, every whisper, every groan of your spirit. I'm not distant or distracted. I'm right here, closer than your next breath. And I'm working, even now, in ways you might not see yet. So don't give up. Keep knocking, keep asking, keep trusting. Your breakthrough might be just around the corner, or it might be growing roots for something greater. Either way, I've got you, and I won't let go. Let me leave you with a simple prayer, one you can carry with you. Lord, help me to trust you more. When I'm weary, give me strength to keep praying. When I doubt, remind me of your faithfulness. And when I can't see the way, help me to see your hand in the small things. Amen. Before we part, take a moment to reflect. Before we part, what's one prayer you've been holding on to, maybe for years? How has it shaped you, even if the answer hasn't come yet? And where have you seen my fingerprints in your life recently, even in the little things? Jot those thoughts down, or share them with someone you trust. Let them be reminders that I'm always at work, always listening, always loving you through the wait. You've journeyed with me through these stories, and I hope you've felt my presence a little closer. But this isn't the end. It's just the beginning. Your prayers are powerful, and they're part of a story I'm still writing. So keep praying, keep trusting, and watch what I'll do. The best is yet to come.